Hi, Katina here for Ask a Clarinet Teacher, our weekly event that we are doing on Fridays at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And today I wanted to talk to you about clarinet ligatures. We're going to unbox some ligatures together, and I'm going to talk to you about what I listen for in ligatures. So right now I'm starting out with my Silverstein ligature. My sweet husband got me this one for my birthday a couple of years ago. I'm gonna mute this so that you can. This is my Silverstein that I've been playing on for a while. And when I try ligatures, I'm going to play the same thing every time. And I use this for when I'm trying clarinets, when I'm trying mouthpieces, not so much with reeds, but if I'm trying different brands of reeds, I will end up playing the same thing over and over again. So let's do just a simple C major scale for now. And feel free to comment on which ligature that you like the best in the comments below or in the chat bar. So, because it's always nice to have another pair of ears when you're trying things out. This is the advice I give all the time for trying clarinets out. Try it with somebody else, your clarinet teacher, your band director, a colleague that you really trust of what their opinion about sound is. So that's the Silverstein. I play that one most of the time. The clarinets that, or the ligatures, excuse me, that we're working with today that we're going to try out are three Rovner ones. We have a Rovner Platinum and a Rovner Dark and the Rovner Van Gogh. So since I am holding the Van Gogh, let's just go ahead and open that. Now, I know we're doing a giveaway in this video, so don't let me forget. And I will give you the instructions on how to enter the drawing to win the Rovner Dark ligature at the end. So if I forget, you guys can holler at me, because if you've met me in person or even through the YouTube channel, you know that I'll forget to do things. All right, so this one's a little tricky to get out. It looks like we have a little flyer. It comes with a mouthpiece cap, which fits the ligature, which is always important because sometimes they don't, or I'll be working in a clinic in a school and there'll be some, mouthpiece ligature combination that doesn't match up. Hi to everybody that's saying hello. So we've got Dorian and Aesthetic Vanessa and Taylor and Radu Pop. Hello everybody. Eric's here. It's good to see you. A lot of you I've seen before, so it's really fun. Okay, so this is the Van Gogh ligature. I'm going to show you a little closer. We have this line in here, and the way it's folded is a little interesting. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that on. Now, I'm one of those people that puts my ligature on first because I have a tendency to chip my reed. So if I have my reed on and then I put the ligature on, it can cause some problems for me. So I also am over 40, so I need reading glasses to put my ligature on so that I can line up the tip of the reed with the tip of the mouthpiece accurately. Okay, so this one's kind of cool. It's a little different than I thought. It's an inverted ligature, that's why we have it in the back. And if I hold it this way, you can see that there's sort of this little gap right here. So I'm going to tighten that, and I have a lot of tightening here to see it's still there a little bit. Let's hear how that sounds. Wow, that's a big difference from the Silverstein. So this one has a big ring in the sound that I really like. It's a little edgier, a little brighter than I usually like in a ligature, but I bet if I put on a tiny little harder reed in there, that would work out for me nicely. One of the good things that you'll notice when you're trying out equipment is if you want to keep playing it, that's good. And this is a ligature I would want to keep playing. So, like I said, a little brighter than I want, but I have a nice ring in the sound with this one, so I like it. Another thing, I'm just tightening it here, is we want to make sure the articulations aren't a little bit chirpy or squeaky. So unbalanced ligatures will do that, or if when they sit on the reed, you can't get that lining up on the mouthpiece, and you get some chirps and squeaks in there, that's a no-go, and you can't use that ligature. I've definitely been through my share of ligatures that I really liked everything else, but it was squeaky when I articulated, and I couldn't keep it. So, so far it's nice to articulate in the shallow mo range, but let's test higher up and see how it works for us there. So I'm keeping that core in the sound. It's a little more bright than I want, but also that's individual. It's easy to play up in the altissimo. And articulating the high G is not at all a challenge. It's very easy to do. I don't have to do any extra work. So I like this one. This is the Rovner Van Gogh. So I am pleasantly surprised over this guy. I'm just going to put that right there. Let's try the Rovner Dark. So this poor box is a little more beat up. So whoever wins this, you'll notice that this box is a little more beat up than the other one. So I apologize for that. Shake it. So this is one of the ones that I recommend for my students all the time. The ligatures that come with the clarinets tend to break. They are unbalanced. You don't get a good sound on them. So the Rovner Dark is aptly named. So let's see if this bad boy gives me a darker sound. And I'm going to show you a little trick with lining this one up, which is kind of cool. This is also an inverted ligature, so you can see in the back right here. And there's a really cool thing. After I show you the two dots, I'm going to show you something about the two ligatures that I just had. So when you use a Rovner Dark ligature, I'm going to see if I can get this to focus a little bit. Do you see these dots right there? You want them on either side of the reed, so you'll see half of the reed in between those dots. I'm going to play the C major scale. So I'm still hearing that core in the sound, but it is a little darker than the Van Gogh. I find that I have to do more focused air and support more to get those articulations to be clean and clear. So I need to work a little bit harder for articulations than I do on the Van Gogh. Did I call it Van Dort? It's a Van Gogh ligature. Let's see how it goes in the altissimo. So I don't have the control of the sound that I was getting in the Van Gogh, but it's still a nice ligature. And it's not a bad thing that I have to put more in air through this to get those articulations to work. That's one of the things that I'm trying to get students to do all the time, is put more air through their instrument. And I've also gotten a little bit lazy. I haven't been practicing as much as I should be. So it's a good, hello, Juliana. So it's a good check-in for me to make sure that I am supporting enough. I just want to make sure. CJ, hello, sorry I missed you. Okay, so here is the the Rovner Dark ligature. And every now and then I'll get students, well, go to my comment section for a lot of my videos when I'm using one like this that's inverted, and they'll say, her ligature's on backwards. And then sometimes they throw in a bunch more negativity too. But the rule of thumb with the ligatures is they're made for right-handed people. So I know this is an inverted ligature because I'm a right-handed person and it's easy for me to do. And so I brought that up to Rovner once. And I said, it's such a shame because lefties kind of have to do this, or it's uncomfortable. So with their ligature design, you can go ahead and unscrew, that part, but don't lose it. So you can unscrew this, and you can take this part out and flip it over and make it a left-handed ligature. And you can do that with the Van Gogh as well, which is pretty cool. I was really excited to see that. So lefties, they've got your back over at Rovner. All right, so that's the Rovner Dark. I'm gonna put that one back in the box, and we're gonna save that one, and I'll give you instructions on how you can win this one. After I play the Platinum, which is the last one I have. Oh no, I ripped it, sorry. Okay, I'm putting that on my desk. All right, so this is the Rovner Platinum. And if you've noticed in some of my videos, I'm actually playing the gold-plated version of that one in a lot. So I've been going back and forth between this one and my Silverstein. Okay, so once again, the ligature is on the front side. Once again, I believe you can go ahead and unscrew this one and flip it over. So if you're left-handed, you can have a comfortable ligature situation. As a reminder, I put the ligature on first, then I put my reed on so that I don't chip it. I know that's a trap for me. And then one of the things that is really important to me with a ligature is that when I put it on, the reed doesn't move. It drives me crazy when I put a ligature on and the reed moves around. So unfortunately, this one is giving me some trouble. I'm having trouble getting this to be stable while I tighten it, and now it's a little bit crooked. So that is something that that I pay attention to. I want to be able to just put my ligature on and play. I'm kind of a lazy clarinet player. I love it when people ask me, do I make my own reeds? And then I laugh and laugh and laugh. Okay, so I have the ligature on. This is how it looks like from the front. And now I'm going to do that C major scale. So I feel this one has that ring that I'm looking for, yet I still get to keep that dark sound, and I love how it sounds over the break. So I'm happy with that sound that I'm getting over there. Let's hear how the articulations are. It's hear and feel for me with articulations. Like, I want to make sure the articulations feel comfortable and reliable. I want to feel safe with articulations. I do not want to be worried all the time whether or not I'm going to squeak. Let's try the altissimo. No. Let me try that with a better embouchure. So honestly, my favorite one for articulations is the Van Gogh. I really like that one. I did not have to work hard at all for those articulations, especially up in the altissimo range. That was really, really nice. But I wasn't quite happy with the sound I was getting. It still had a nice core in the sound and a beautiful ring. It was just a little brighter than I wanted to. Yet this one has that nice sound that I like, but I have to work harder for the articulations than I wanted to. So, and I had a little trouble putting it on. So that is one of those things that you have to, I feel like there's no perfect situation anywhere in the world, and you have to, you know, choose what are the best ones for you. So do I want better sound? Do I want better articulations? I'm not really married to any of these particular ligatures. I might as well compare it with my old one, but I do rotate a lot, so sometimes for certain pieces I will use a different ligature, just like I'll use different reeds and things like that too. My teacher in college, in graduate school, David Krakauer, would use different mouthpieces for different pieces. And if you've ever met a bassoonist, ask them which reed they use for Rite of Spring and whether or not they change it later on. All right, so. So, and that one's a little brighter sound than I wanted to. So really, so far, the sound-wise one is that Rovner Platinum. So if you guys have any questions, if you liked any of the way some of them sounded versus others, please comment in the chat bar. I'm going to see if anybody's any questions, and then I will go ahead and tell you how to enter the drawing to win the Rovner Dark. So I'm seeing some questions here. I have to lean all the way over. Okay, what do I think of the Yamaha YCL 600? I haven't played that one, but I've played some Yamahas, and I love the Yamahas, especially for intonation. They are wonderful clarinets. They're very consistent, and they're very reliable for intonation. So if you are trying one out, obviously you're going to need to use a tuner when you're trying out clarinets and mouthpieces, and I even do it with ligatures too, but it doesn't make as much difference. The only thing that the ligature is going to affect is whether or not I need to change my reed strength. So if my reed strength changes, then I can have different intonation things. Usually if I go to a harder reed, I get sharper. So I do love the Yamahas. I highly recommend them. They're also really, really hardy clarinets. It's hard to break one of those. Not that, you know, we're all going around and breaking our clarinets, but so yeah, I do love that Yamaha. Okay, hi, Love Never Dies, fan of the opera sequel. Oh. Okay, Tyler. Tyler and I have known each other for years at this point, and I didn't even know that there was an option to watch Love Never Dies, so I'm going to have to check that out. So thank you for the recommendation. And I'm probably going to be the only one in my family watching it, just like I'm the only one in my family watching Picard right now. But I will definitely watch that and report back to you. So I have a bunch of hellos. Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming. And I'm going to scroll down. Tyler, yeah, the Rovner is a good ligature. I'm glad that you have it and you're happy with it. And Taylor, you're a blind clarinet player. We should talk more. There are some amazing musicians out there that are working with non-typical clarinet and musical physical abilities. So, that's awesome. So, I had a school I taught with once, and there was a trumpet player that was blind, and he used the Braille music, and he would just memorize all of his music, and he was great, and I think he ended up being first chair. He was really, really awesome. Suraj just dropped in to say hello. And I hope I said your name right. And Tina, do you have special pieces of music that you play when testing equipment, or do you still just stick with scales? Okay, this is a good one. I do stick with the scales, but like I said, if I feel the need to play more, and that ligature or that mouthpiece or that clarinet is calling for more, I usually do the opening of the Brahms Sonata. Just because of that leap down into the throat tones. So you can hear that stuffiness in my A and my B flat. So I'm not happy about that. Now, that could be a clarinet thing. It could be a reed thing. Highly likely that it is a me thing. But let's just go ahead and try a different ligature and see if we notice anything. Oh, I'm putting on the platinum again. Hopefully it won't give me trouble with tightening it so it doesn't move the reed. So that one actually did have more ring in the A and the B flat, so I did notice that there, so I was happy with that. I'm kind of shy as a clarinet player when I am with other clarinet players, if I'm going to be vulnerable with everybody here that's with me today. So I'm not going to be playing the Hina stereo variations. I am not going to be playing a lot of show-offy pieces. I just want to get in there and find out what's going on with what that piece of equipment that I'm trying is. So I really am kind of all business when I go in there. If I am working on a particular piece and I have it memorized, I'll play that. If I have a piece that gives me a particular problem and I'm trying equipment to see if the equipment will help make my life easier, because really that's what we're doing, then I will try that. But really, I know that I am the first source of the problem. I have good equipment. So if I'm having an issue with something I'm playing, it's me that I need to fix before buying something else. But that's a good question. And the Mozart concerto is always fun to play too. But I do like that Brahms just because of that dip down into the throat tones. So next one, what reed preferences? That's also a great question. I am on D'Addario, let's see, and I also rotate all my reeds a lot. So this is the Reserve Classic, and it's strength 4. I also like the Evolution. I've played those two, the new ones that they just came out with. And before the coronavirus hit, I was going to test their new synthetic reed, but now we all are pausing that too. So yeah, I use the D'Addario reeds, and for bass, if I'm playing a piece where my reed dries out a lot on bass, like the Nutcracker, because I'm sitting there a lot, I will usually use a synthetic reed like a Ligature for that, so that it doesn't dry out while I'm playing, which, nobody wants that. Okay. Tyler, wait, no, Dorian, hi. Okay, wait, no. Geez, you guys, you're saying so many things, I have to scroll it back. Okay, so reed preference, any tips for the chromatic scale? I'm struggling in upper ranges. Oh, what a great question. Okay, now I don't know who asked that. CJ. CJ, I don't know if you're in one of the districts that has it slurred up and tongued down, if you're learning it for a district thing. And if you are, just let me know in the comments and I'll talk about that separately, because the articulation down is its own little beast. Now, when I teach the clarinet and when I learn, when I work on certain things, I like to chunk things into small groups. And with the chromatic scale, I work on it in groups of 5. But it really is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So you're playing 5 notes. And you stay on that one you land on. So we just did E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, rest. G sharp, A sharp, B, C, rest, like that. So if you group it into the 5s, then you get the rhythmic pulse of the quarter note and the 16th note. And so you do your 5s up to where you're comfortable with. If you can play all the way to the top from there, great, do it in the 5s. If you can't, just do it by octaves. And then do it by groups of 9. So go back to the G sharp, go back to the C, like that. And that's, you really, really, really want that rhythm in your fingers. I judge district band every year, and that is exactly what I'm listening for. I'm listening to the rhythmic pulse of the clarinet players behind that screen. I don't really care how fast you can play. I want to know if I can trust putting you in that band for that guest conductor who's coming from Texas or wherever they're coming from, so that you are a solid player and you're not going to have any rhythmic problems. So that's what you want to show when you're playing the chromatic scale. Now, CJ's question was specifically the upper. Like, let's say you're having trouble going from F to F sharp. That's what you practice, F to F sharp. F, F sharp, G. Slowly. I will even do it like I'm doing it now and just talk about it. F, F sharp, G, for that good landing in there. So, yeah, isolate the problem, fix the problem, and then build into it from the previous sections of what you need to know. Okay. Yeah, Art Lover use Rico reeds. Try some of the other D'Addarios. The Ricos are good. I think the quality has gone up from when I was a kid, and Rico had the bad reputation that's still hanging over. But there are other ones like Mitchell Lurie and D'Addario that I think they last longer and they might get a little better sound. But the Rico is still a great reed. What's your favorite lyrical and technical pieces? That's Dorian's question. Oh, my favorite, I'm going to give you one at the same time. So the Copland Clarinet Concerto is my favorite lyrical and technical piece. It is beautiful. The opening is absolutely one of the prettiest openings I've ever heard. And if you can find the recording of David Schifrin playing it, that's the one you want. It's really, really good. Tyler, yeah, there's a video out for 34 hours on the YouTube channel called The Show Must Go On. Okay. I love all your recommendations. Thank you. Oh, somebody's telling me to play Harry Potter. Which one? And, oh, Matthew says this is kind of not fun. Oh, poor Matthew. Sorry. I eat tomatoes. You should do a Zoom meeting. That is something that I've been looking into. Sadly, everybody, there are legal issues with that. So I can't just jump right in, and I think it's a really good idea, and I'm working my way into that, so stay tuned. I might be able to do something like that. You might have to sign releases and stuff. Okay. I'm shy about my playing, but I've brought sheet music with me because I'm still learning. That's a great idea. Yep. Dorian, have you ever looked into the Blue Shade solo? That's a great solo, isn't it? That's a good one. Yeah, I like that one a lot. So is there a quality difference between Cocobolo or Grenadola clarinet? That is a good one, Ran. I don't know for sure. I have a lot of friends that play the Cocobolo clarinets, and obviously pretty much 90% of the people I know play this one, which is the Grenadilla wood clarinet. And I don't know much about Cocobolo, but what I do know about Grenadilla is a bummer. This is extinct commercially in certain countries in Africa. And there's an organization called Daraja Strings Initiative. I'll see if I can find the link and put it in the notes, but or in the comment section. Or the video description. I can do this. I want to say show notes because I listen to podcasts all the time. But they're trying to replant the mpingo tree, which is what Grenadilla comes from. So, and it's not just instrument makers. it's furniture makers and things like that, this is a highly desirable wood, and so it is an endangered species, and like I said, it's extinct in some countries, like I think I'm not going to make it up, so, but yeah, it is. So if you look it up, it kind of sucks. So Cocobolo, I don't believe is in that situation, and I think it would be what your preference for sound is also with the Cocobolo wood, but the people that I know that play it love it, and I think it's definitely sound. Okay. You're welcome, CJ. How do you know what ligature you have? Mine came with mine. Okay, so yours is a stock ligature. So Art Lover, yours is stock ligature. And the reason you can tell where it comes from because you buy it separately. So I bought all my ligatures separately. This one's purchased separately. So yeah, if you ever go to a clarinet day or a clarinet event, like the International Clarinet Association ligatures, and you can try them and find the one that works the best for you. The stock ones aren't fantastic. Now, the only exception to what I just said is if you buy a used clarinet, sometimes they come with good ligatures. So that's how I know. Ron, extinct. So our Grenadilla clarinet will be very rare. I bought a Yamaha 3411 for $200 on Craigslist. Nice job. You lucked out. It could have been really, it could have not gone as well for you, and I'm glad it worked out. At least you didn't buy one of these insane clarinets that they sell on Amazon for like $100. Yes, they're extinct commercially. So they're not extinct, in the wild like we think about with ecology, but extinct commercially means there aren't any more trees big enough for them to harvest to make the clarinets out of. It takes 100 years for an impingo tree to get to the size of being harvested. And that's just commercially extinct in certain countries. But yes, I don't know if that's going to make a difference with the price of wood. I mean, every time I pull my bass clarinet out, I think about how much wood that is. That is a lot of wood. I think it's one of the reasons why bass clarinet prices just, doubled within the past 20 years, which is craziness. Dorian, oh, hi. How do I say that? Delipnair, that's hard to say. Dorian, I plan to audition for future honor bands. What is some tips you'd give for scales and sight reading? And then, oh my gosh, you guys. All right, so I try and keep these under 30 minutes, and then I get some really good questions at the end. So before I go any step further, for anybody that has made it this far, just after this video publishes, because right now this chat is part of the video, if you can go into the comment section and just comment, just say, I was there, or I was going to have you all say what kind of ligature you have, but you know what, you might just have a stock one. So just go in there and be like, I have a stock ligature, or I have a Rovner ligature, or whatever ligature it is. And you can be like, I don't know what ligature I have, but write it in there, and then I'll do a drawing, and I'll just pick a name, and then I'll send you that ligature, and then of course you will have to sterilize it. I don't think I have coronavirus, but you never know. The only problem is I have to stay within the United States. I cannot ship internationally at this time, so I'm really sorry if you're not from the US. Okay, so to answer some questions very quickly so we can wrap up in a timely manner, some tips for scales and sight reading. Okay, scales, going back to what I said with chromatic, very solid and rhythmic. You want to show how good your internal pulse is. So it's not about whether or not you know the notes. And that's I feel like that's the dirty little secret. It's not the notes, it's how well you play that scale. What beautiful sound you have, but really it's that rhythmic integrity, because with honor band we need to make sure that you have a good rhythmic pulse. So that's the number one rule with scales. Number two, with sight reading, don't panic. You can practice sight reading, and I highly recommend it. There's the Sight Reading Factory. Go there and they'll give you some free sight reading exercises, a certain amount every week, or get the subscription and just practice sight reading. Practice sight reading out of your books, practice sight reading out of your friends' books. Sight reading really, really comes with practice. There are really cool apps you can get on your phone that are rhythm games. So I Read Rhythm is a good app, and then you can practice rhythm games. If you have to make a choice when you're sight reading, choose the rhythm over notes, because if you're playing the right notes and the wrong rhythms, you're playing the wrong notes. So if you can get the rhythms right, at least I know that you're in the right place generally. And the other thing is that we tend to get more notes right than we think we do, especially when we're doing sight reading, because it's like, we hit this animal sort of fight, flight, or freeze thing when we're scared or nervous about something. So then we come out of sight reading like, wow, that was terrible. But I get to hear you guys, and most of the time it's pretty good. And the other one is always pick a slower tempo than you think. Your heart is racing. So that is where your internal pulse comes from. So if your heart is racing, you'll tend to pick something faster. But I should really do a sight reading video, and I don't know if I've done one yet. I know I've done a review of the Sight Reading Factory, but a sight reading video would be good. Good warm-up. I did warm-ups on one of our live streams, and so what I like to do is take B natural and just expand by half notes and whole, by half steps in whole notes. So like that, and then do B, A, B, C sharp, B, and then just keep expanding out by half steps in that one till you get to that nice octave difference there. And I should actually go back to that other video and put the timestamps in of when we talked about stuff. How often do you use bore oil? I know I'm supposed to do bore oil maybe once a year, and I don't do it. I should probably do that. And I've been okay, knock on wood. I've only had one clarinet crack in my life. So I've been lucky with that. I don't do bore oil, but a lot of people do, and they highly recommend it. I'm just, as I said, lazy. No Canadian shipping, sorry. Perfect, thank you so much. You are welcome, Dorian. And what are some tips on how to circular breathe? Okay, I did this one in another video too, and I need to just make this an official video so I can just keep sharing it. So get some water, just take a sip of water in a cup and stand over a sink, because this is gonna be messy. And I want you to spit the water out. And then when you get comfortable with spitting the water out, you want to feel it in your cheeks. You're welcome, art lover. You want to feel it in your cheeks. When you're spitting out the stream of water, I want you to breathe in through your nose at the same time. And that is the feel of circular breathing. So circular breathing is puffing up your cheeks and pushing the air out with the muscles in your cheeks while you breathe in through your nose. So once you get comfortable doing that with your water, that's when you can pick up your clarinet. I do it on E. E is a nice note to practice that on because it's stable. You're holding the clarinet. Open G is nice because it's a little bit easier to play at open G, but the clarinet is kind of wobbly there, and it feels like you don't have any security when you do that. But that is the real fast version of circular breathing. But practice with the water first, and once you get comfortable with that, with squeezing with your cheeks, then you can try squeezing the air with your cheeks into the clarinet. So that was great. You guys, thank you. Always such good questions. I appreciate it. I'll be looking for your comments. And then the challenge for me is when I pick somebody, a lot of times I reach out to you by commenting on your post. Then sometimes people don't get back to me. So just pay attention, put notifications on. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and that way you'll know when I write back. And I'll be doing a couple more of these giveaways. So yeah, make sure you subscribe so that you know when they're going to happen. All right. Okay. Oh, Ran, is that your name? Yeah, playing Flight of the Bumblebee, there is no place to breathe. So yes, start out slow, get it going on the clarinet first, and then just start working your fingers in slowly. I would do it not over the break yet. So get comfortable doing the circular breathing below the break first, and then you can extend it from there. Okay, good luck with winning the ligature. So don't forget to comment and subscribe, and I will see you guys next week. Bye. Hi.